Hello. Hello, everybody. Merry Christmas. It is Christmas Eve. I have my little Christmas tree here. Uh, they had these at Hobby Lobby, and they remind me of the ones that like my mom had as a kid. I have a big one. Of course, I bought one that looks like it. I feel like a lot of people my age are buying all the stuff that they had in childhood. I know I am. And you know you're middle age when you're the group that they're trying to target, like the commercials with Buster Rhymes and Walmart. Um, yeah, I've seen a lot of rappers in commercials, like insurance commercials. That's when you know you're officially middle age. Thank you, Tash. Uh, My bun is like a hot mess, so I decided to put these on. I have not combed my hair or removed this from yesterday. I wore this to work. So I have red pair somewhere, but I don't know where they are. Anyway, I hope everybody is having a good, let's see, what is today? Tuesday. Hope everybody's having a good Tuesday. I still need to go to the store. I don't want to go to the store. I need to get some kitty litter liners. I'm going to double check before I go. If I just have two, that's all I need. It can wait. Hello, 80s music man. Uh, my roommate's mother is coming, and oh, that's all I'm going to say. So I need to clean the house. There's so much more I want to say, but being as that this is a public channel and anybody can see it. Oh, thanks, Pokemon. All right, so we're gonna jump into it. I think you guys can tell by my eyes where I was going. Um, so I have a story to share that has gotten personal for me. This is somebody I know. This is a friend of mine. Uh, this is not normally the things that I cover, but people need advocates. Their advocates, sadly, are in short supply, at least advocates that don't take money. I found out that another advocate took $3,500, so that's $3,500 to do a press conference, and that's it. Um, these I know that there's another advocate that charges thousands of dollars. People want to call me a grifter or say bad things about me. That's fine, but I have never ever charged a family that has come to me for help money, especially not $3,000. I've never asked for a dime, not even parking when I have gone to a family with court because it's like $20 to park. I help because I want to help. I don't help for money. If somebody wants to give me money that's not connected to the family, that's fine, but I'm not going to take money from a family that's suffering. So this whole situation really upsets me because this has to do with a child that is disabled and was assaulted by a teacher, and the school kind of hid it. And this is somebody who's become a friend of mine that is the mother. So I told her that I would help her share the story uh, and get it out here. So there will be another update to this investigation in a few days. And I told her, depending on how this goes, will be depending on where we go with this. But I told her I will help her in any way I can, and I'm not taking a dime from her. It doesn't cost me anything to share her story. It doesn't cost me anything to do anything. It's just, and this is a child with autism, right? So, and this was supposed to be a teacher that was supposed to be somebody who was trained to work with people with disabilities. And for those of you that don't know, for 7 years, I worked with a nonprofit uh, with children with disabilities, autism, veterans. I specialized working with veterans, but I also am a certified class case manager, and class case management has to do with working with people with disabilities. Class is a Medicaid waiver that helps services for people with disabilities. And if you're a class case manager, you're kind of an in between advocate with them. So I cried when she told me what happened. So I might get a little emotional because it really bothers me. I mean, all these stories bother me, but like this one, I know the mom. So I need you guys to help me stay on top of this school district. We need to make sure that I'm already starting to get misty eyed. We need to make sure that this teacher is held accountable. Because if you are going to work with children with disabilities, there is a right and a wrong way to handle them. And body slamming a child is not the right thing to do. So this is Denise and her story about her 9-year-old son. He's only 9.
The nurse didn't call me. Nobody called me. And this is what happened. They're like, do you want to press charges? I said, absolutely.
It's a parent's worst nightmare, an elementary school's documentation of abuse and neglect. A former Northeast Independent School District teacher accused of using excessive force on a 9-year-old special education student has resigned. And the student's mother spoke with Zaria Oates and tells us that she's seeking legal action and also answers from the district.
How do you feel about your son's safety?
I'm scared for his. I'm scared for mine.
October 28th, Denise Corbin's 9-year-old son texted her something out of the ordinary.
He said, Mom, Mr. Triolo slammed me and my back feels like it's broken.
Luke Triolo, a now former NEISD teacher, named in this district police report about a classroom fight between two students. NEISD sent KSAT a statement reading in part, quote, the teacher was removed from the classroom at that time. It was determined the teacher used excessive physical force while breaking up a fight and was recommended for termination, end quote. Triolo instead resigned November 7th. The student's mother says there was no fight to break up and that she continued receiving emails from the teacher about how her son was in class that afternoon and the next day. In an email to Corbin, the special education director said that, quote, the recording documents abuse or neglect as defined in the Texas Family Code of a student by a staff member, end quote.
On November 18th, I went to see the video. There was my son and another young man. My son sat next to the young man. The young man indicated that my son had touched his Chromebook.
Corbin says the video was blurred to remove another student's face, so it wasn't clear, but her son says he didn't touch the student's Chromebook.
At which point the teacher said, you're lying. Nobody believes you. Nobody believes you. Nobody's going to believe you. So my son then stood up, took the table. He said, I'm not lying. At which point the teacher walked over to my son, wrapped his arms around my son, and then body slammed my son on the ground.
Her son has autism and receives instruction in a special needs classroom.
You waited 3 weeks. Nobody called me on that day. The nurse didn't call me. Nobody called me. And this is what happened. They were like, do you want to press charges? I said, absolutely.
Corbin says she tried to file a police report with SAPD, and they told her the process has to be with NEISD police. Since then, she's retained an attorney and gotten assistance from civil rights activist Candace Matthews.
It's unacceptable because we don't send our children to get assaulted by teachers. The expectation is that the superintendent needs to remove everybody that's in leadership at that school. Because clearly, again, they did not follow the correct processes when you have a child that has made an outcry. Then on top of that, you have video to show the alleged abuse.
KSAT has requested the classroom video of the incident and is awaiting a ruling from the Attorney General's office on whether the school is required to release this video. NEISD also said they've, quote, reported the teacher to the State Board of Education for possible sanctions against Triolo's certification.
Right now, my trust and integrity in the system is not there.
The family and their attorney plan to have a press conference on December 3rd regarding the legal steps they'll be taking moving forward. We'll be sure to keep you updated.
So charges have still not been filed. He was not fired. The teacher was allowed to resign. And there was no fight in the video. the teacher called a child with autism a liar. You're a liar. Nobody's going to believe you. Why would you talk to a child that way if you're a teacher, elementary school kid, and especially a child with autism? Why would you say something like that? Why would you trigger the kid to do that? And him flipping a table because you antagonized him still doesn't mean that you get to bear hug him and then slam him on the ground. I have never had to do that with any of the children that I've ever worked with. There is a right and a wrong way to deal with children with disabilities and autism. If you're not trained how to deal with them, then you shouldn't be working with special needs children. It's really upsetting, and Tanise is such a good mom, and she is fighting so hard, and the school district, I think, is hoping that she's just not going to know what to do. Well, she's not in this alone, and I may not be a school expert. The criminal justice system is more my forte, but I will learn and do whatever I can to help this family to make sure that this does not get swept under the rug. We are going to make sure that justice is served in this case. So I'm going to keep sharing the story. Oh, God, my eyes are still watering. Especially when it comes to children, anything with children bothers me, but like children with disabilities are just, extra special. Oh, God. Okay, let me stop. All right. So the next, oh God, I'm sorry, guys. Yeah, Mr. Polk has scars all over his forearms from a student. He never body slammed her. Yeah, you don't do that to children. You don't do that to a 9-year-old. You don't do it to a child with autism. Like you can't do those things if you're going to work with children and children with disabilities. Anyway, so the next story, the next news clip, I should say, that I'm going to share is about Giselle. We've had clips of Giselle multiple times. She is a hero to women. She is a hero to sexual assault survivors, to show them that they have nothing to be ashamed of, and the perpetrators have everything to be ashamed of. So I'm just going to share a clip about how she found out what was happening to her. So, just warning that this is about sexual assault. All right, so let's get into it.
A verdict is supposed to come down this week in just a horrifying rape case out of France. And before we get to it, I want to warn you, the details are very disturbing. That is Giselle Pellicot arriving to court with a round of applause from her supporters. Her now ex-husband is on trial, accused of drugging her with sleeping pills and allowing dozens of men who are also on trial to force themselves on her. The crux of the case is the video evidence, which prosecutors say shows the assaults over the years. Supporters have rallied around Pellicot throughout the trial. This picture is from a women's rights rally outside the court in southern France this past weekend. It says, "Merci Giselle," French for thank you. I want to bring in Catherine Porter. She's an international correspondent for the New York Times who's been covering this trial. Catherine, thank you for being here. This trial started in September, and in one of the pieces you wrote about it, you said, quote, "For more than 10 weeks, Giselle Pellicot has sat in a courtroom in Avignon, France, quietly listening to the explanations of 50 men. She has heard most say they were not guilty." How did we get here?
That's a good question. I mean, the beginning of this case was that her husband of 50 years, Dominique, was caught filming up the skirts of women in a local grocery store. And when police took his phones and his cameras, and they also took a laptop from home, they found evidence of photos of a woman who seemed to be drugged and raped. And they believed that her husband was raping her and inviting other men to come and do the same. So they started a very big investigation, and 2 months later arrested him and shocked her by telling her what they had discovered, because she had no idea whatsoever. In fact, she had suffered some kinds of strange symptoms, mostly blackouts, that she had believed were early signs of Alzheimer's or a brain tumor. The reason that this case has taken on such a huge ampleur, as they say in French, such a huge volume, and really shocked the country, is that 50 men have been charged along with her husband in raping her. And she decided at the beginning of the trial to make it public. She wanted, as she said, shame to change sides and France to look rape straight in the eyes. So she opened the courtroom to reporters like me, but also to regular people in France who have been lining up starting around 6 a.m. every day to get into an overflow room to watch the proceedings.
A point of contention in this case is France's rape law, which defines rape as a sex act carried out by, quote, violence, coercion, threat, or surprise, but it makes no mention of consent. How has that impacted the testimony in the case as a whole?
I don't think it's impacted the testimony in the case, even though it doesn't use the word consent. Consent is key in most of the men's defense. They say that they believed that she had consented, and they say that they were lured to the house by her husband, who was promising a playful kind of threesome between the three of them, and that she was pretending to sleep. So a lot of the questioning by the judge is whether they had gotten consent from her, whether they had spoken to her. Consent is always at the heart of these type of trials that are typically he said, she said. The difference, as you said, in this case, is there are thousands, tens of thousands of videos and photos that her husband took and cataloged throughout the almost a decade. So, there is a debate within French feminists about whether they should include the word consent in the law, and this concept of a positive consent that needs to be continual. But I will tell you, there are many feminist lawyers who are pushing back, who believe that the law as it is very good, and that it's not applied as much, and that the focus should always be on the men and their actions and not on the woman and whether or not she had given permission.
Amen to that. So Giselle, yes, she does have kids, and she has grandchildren too. So people asked her if she was going to change her last name after this, and she said no, because she has children and grandchildren with that last name. She's not ashamed of her last name, and she doesn't want anybody else in her family to be ashamed. Like, she is truly like an icon. She is so brave, and like I don't even know her, and I'm just so proud of her. Like, she has, I think, helped so much by sharing her story, and thank God her husband was a moron and recorded everything. And their defense, though, we thought that she gave consent and she was pretending. No, you didn't. I think what the website was, uh she doesn't know.com or something like that. It was like a website looking for ways to do stuff like that. I don't remember what the website was, but I think it's gone now. But yes, she is amazing. I hope that she has a beautiful Christmas. What time is it in France? I don't even know. I hope that she has a wonderful life, because she definitely deserves it, especially after being, where she is, like going through what she has. Um, and I hope that she is surrounded with her family and that they are so proud of her. Okay, so it is almost dinner time in France, so they'll have Christmas a little earlier than us. Yeah, she could have gone in any direction, but she chose strength for all. Yes, she did. And yeah, she's amazing. So the next news clip I'm going to share is one of the most disturbing things that I have seen in my entire life. Twitter, I'm not going to call it X because it's Twitter. The website is still twitter.com. I saw the woman that was set on fire. I have seen that video so many times on Twitter. I wish I hadn't seen it. I wish that I had a choice in the things that I saw on social media. I do really like Twitter. I do not like seeing really horrific things like that, and I wish that we could draw a line somewhere. That's somebody's loved one, and now it's all over the internet forever. I don't know that she's been identified yet. I did hear that the only way that they would be able to identify her is through her teeth. Um, I don't think that the person that set her on fire threw anything on her. I think that they just lit her clothes on fire. I don't know how flammable her clothes were. I don't know if he threw anything on her. So if you are on Twitter, be very careful because this video it's everywhere. I've seen it over and over and over and over and over. Um, so just, be very careful. So the next news clip is the man that is accused of doing it. And in the video, he like walks up to her and he's like trying to fan it to like make it worse. People are like, oh, he's trying to put it out. No, he's not. He was trying to fan it. Nobody tried to put it out. Not even the cop that walked by. Yeah. But I was thinking, like, what can you realistically do in those situations at that point? I mean, he can't say he didn't see it, but he looked like he didn't see it when he walked by the cop. He's just like, do, 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 do. Like, I'm in my own world sometimes, but I definitely wouldn't miss that. But yeah, I've been thinking about that. Like, what would you do? What could you do? And ironically, I've been watching Chicago Med, and they just had an episode where a guy set himself on fire with rubbing alcohol, and somebody grabbed a curtain and threw it on him to try to put it out. But I mean, the cop had a jacket. Um, yeah, I mean the woman was just standing. I don't know if she could stop, drop, and roll. I heard rumors that she had a walker. And I think that you're not even thinking when that happens, that you're in shock. So, but if you see that, what can you do as a person? The only thing I could think of is that maybe the cop could have used his jacket to try to help put it out. But I don't know. So we're going to learn more about the person that did it.
Late today, charges filed in another horrific murder that has shaken New Yorkers. A woman set on fire on a subway train. 39-year-old Sebastian Zabeta is charged with murder and arson for starting that fire that killed a woman who was sleeping on an F train in Brooklyn over the weekend. Police believe she was homeless. Authorities tell us he is an undocumented immigrant from Guatemala who snuck back into the United States after being deported back in 2018. Eyewitness News reporter Dan Kraft live outside the train station in Coney Island where this nightmare unfolded. Dan?
Sandra, it is a nightmare. I watched videos of what happened, videos we're not releasing publicly, and they are horrendous. Police say the man walked up to a stranger on the subway, got out a lighter, and lit her clothes on fire. When police arrested him, they found that lighter in question in his pocket.
Why did you do it?
At 33 years old, Sebastian Zapata has been charged with first-degree murder. Our cameras rolled as police took him to lockup. But it's not the first time he was caught on camera. Police didn't know it at the time, but their body cameras captured a shot of him Sunday morning when they first rushed to the station. Seen sitting calmly on a bench, watching the woman burn to death. This is after police say he used a lighter to ignite her clothes on fire on the F train in Coney Island. Once they released his picture, a group of teenagers spotted him on a different train and called 911.
Something is clearly wrong with a person that would set an innocent individual on fire, a woman, and sit there and watch her burn.
We're learning new details about the suspect. Zapata is a citizen of Guatemala. Police say he crossed the border into Arizona in June of 2018. He was detained and deported days later, but snuck back into the country. He last lived at a homeless shelter in East New York.
This person was snuck into the country after being removed from the country. What my preliminary reports are giving me. I've been talking about this over and over again.
Police have not released the identity of the victim yet, saying her body was burned beyond recognition. The Brooklyn District Attorney issuing a statement that reads in part, "The depravity of this horrific crime is beyond comprehension, and his office is committed to bringing the perpetrator to justice. This gruesome and senseless act of violence against a vulnerable woman will be met with the most serious consequences." The crime happening in a violent weekend for the city's subway system. In addition to the brutal burning, there was a stabbing and a shooting. The same weekend, the governor rode the subway, touting how cameras and the National Guard have made it safer. We found some crime, like robberies, is down by double digits this year compared to last.
It's these high-profile cases that strike out our psyche and make us feel unsafe, and that's what I'm fighting against every day.
Officers say Zepeda will be transferred over to federal custody and will face removal proceedings shortly. This story is already getting national and even international attention right now due to some high-profile social media posts, including posts from Elon Musk over the past 24 hours. Reporting live in Coney Island tonight, Dan Crowd, Channel 7.
Why? I don't care if Elon posted about it. That's a weird. Elon posts about everything. Man, Eric Adams is probably like, I am so glad all this crazy shit's going on right now so people can forget about me and my FBI investigation. He's got Luigi going on and he's got this. I'm sure he's ecstatic thinking that he can make people forget about the FBI. I feel horrible that this happened, and I hope that they're able to identify her and find her family. And the fact that somebody is here and they're not even supposed to be here and then they're doing stuff like that. Yeah, I only used the subway once when I was in New York. I was too scared to use it. Well, and I don't really like being around a lot of people, but I went with one of my male friends. My female friend that I was visiting refused to use it, so she never uses the subway. We just used Ubers, and Ubers are extra expensive in New York. Y'all got to pay a lot of money to go a very few miles. It's cheaper in where I live, a lot cheaper. All right. So next, we're going to talk about Luigi Mangione's latest court appearance. He has pleaded not guilty, and there were about 24 women waiting for him in the courtroom.
And Towson native Luigi Mangione appeared in court today to face charges in the murder of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson.
Guilty or not guilty? Not guilty.
The 26-year-old pled not guilty to several counts of first and second-degree murder, including murder as an act of terrorism. Fox 45's Vincent Hill joins us now with more on Mangione's plea and what could come next in that case.
Yeah, one attorney calling it a calculated move by the defense and a trial he says could take years to decide.
Flanked by police in a line of news media, Luigi Mangione walking into a New York City courtroom Monday to face his charges.
How do you plead to this indictment, sir? Guilty or not guilty? Not guilty.
The 26-year-old Gilman High graduate pleading not guilty in the December 4th killing of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. Mangione is charged with first and second-degree murder as well as terrorism.
We were able to match that gun to the 3 shell casings that we found in Midtown at the scene of the homicide.
Prosecutors laying out a long list of evidence they say links Mangione to the crime.
I don't know that it is a slam dunk case, nor will it ever automatically be a slam dunk case.
But attorney Kirk Nachman, not affiliated with the case, calling the not guilty plea a legal tactic, buying the defense more time.
Enter a plea of not guilty in order to see what evidence the state has or what evidence the government has against you. It's pretty early in the process. I'm sure his lawyers will want to review and analyze the evidence.
A key piece of evidence, the gun, prosecutors say, is the smoking gun in their case.
Supposedly it's a polymer 80 or polymer 90 firearm.
In other words, a ghost gun, Nachman says proving Mangione ever owned the gun will be difficult.
There should be some chain of custody issues related to that.
As well as these images released shortly after the shooting and writings found on Mangione at the time of his arrest.
It's the authentication of the video evidence. Where did this manifesto document that they're talking about come from? How are they going to authenticate that?
Meanwhile, Mangione's attorney, Karen Friedman-Agnifilo,
He's a young man, and he is being treated like a human ping pong ball.
addressing her concerns for a fair trial, given the media attention surrounding the case.
That's a better question. Cases like this in the limelight are very difficult to get an impartial jury. So certainly there's going to be a voir dire process that they'll go through when they get to that point, sometime months or years down the road.
How long the case could take before it goes to trial is up in the air, but just how it could play out in court.
No prediction.
Meanwhile, Mangione is due back in court February 21st. In Baltimore, Vincent Hill, Fox 45 News.
I'm Kai Jackson.
Why do they always make reporters stand outside even in the cold? There's literally no reason for him to be shooting that outside, but let's just make him stand out in the freezing cold where he has to bundle up and his breath you can see. Do I agree with murdering anybody for anything? No. Well, there are very few circumstances, but I would probably call that self-defense, not murder, in those cases. I don't agree with what Luigi did. However, I do think that the justice system is making some serious mistakes with the way that they're charging him, and I think it's going to hurt the case. The way that they're treating him has catapulted him, I think, into he's basically like a preppy Joker. What he's done has started people coming together and supporting him, and the way that they're parading him around and doing all this and overcharging him is doing nothing but making him a martyr. They should have just done normal, murder one charges, not terrorism and federal and all that. I think that depending on the jury, it could end up biting them in the butt. I do think he's attractive. I do think he's a good-looking kid. Am I going to write him? No. Am I going to sit in court and get googly-eyed? Absolutely not. I think regardless of what happens, Luigi will be just fine because seems to be very well-liked in prison. His eyebrows have been cleaned up, his hair. They're taking good care of him. Adams loves the attention. Yes, the Con Air style perp walk. It more reminded me of Batman. I was just waiting for some henchmen to come out and break him out of there. All right, so the next area that we are going to be talking about is Columbus. Columbus, there are rumors going around that there is a serial killer. There's been a lot of speculation on social media. And we see speculation on social media about just about everything. People say that there's a serial killer in Austin or there's a serial killer in Houston and putting people in the bayous and yada, yada, yada. Yeah, can't wait for the next election. The New York election is definitely going to be very interesting. Nobody that I've spoken to actually likes Eric Adams. If you like Eric Adams, let me know, because you'd be the first person that has said that. All right, so let's see what police have to say about the serial killer speculation.
Well, Columbus police are releasing new information about a triple homicide. 3 women dead on the south side over the weekend.
Now, police believe this incident is connected to a separate deadly shooting that happened days before, less than a mile away. NBC4 crime and safety reporter Anna Hoffman spoke with police and one of the victims' family members. Anna, police leaders also wanted to address rumors that have been circulating on social media about this, right?
Yes, Jared, they did. There has been a lot of talk online about a serial killer being responsible for these shootings. Well, Columbus police say that is not true at all. However, they are still on the hunt for the suspects responsible for this triple shooting. I spoke with one of the victims' aunts. She tells me their entire family is in shock.
We relive it over and over and over again because we don't want to believe it.
Family members in the entire Columbus community are shaken in the aftermath of the deadly shooting of 3 women inside a South Side home. Tuesday, Columbus police leaders addressing reporters about the incident and putting to rest rumors.
We've been made aware that over the past several days that there have been some rumors circulating on social media that some of the incidents are connected to a serial killer. I can tell you definitively that that is not the case. It's not necessarily responsible for us to let that fester and let people get, scared about, potential, threats that, may be out there.
Saturday afternoon, 34-year-old Sierra Muse, 49-year-old Dawn Clover, and 36-year-old Tiffany Parrish were found dead inside a home on South Ohio Avenue. Deputy Chief Smith Weir says they are still searching for suspects responsible for the triple shooting. Weir said Tuesday, police have reason to believe these deaths are connected to a homicide on East Moeller Street on December 10th.
We are still looking for several suspects out of that.
39-year-old Daryl Hambrick was shot and killed a week ago on East Moeller Avenue. Police have arrested and charged a man with his death.
There's something going on here.
Kelly Argyle, Parrish's aunt, says her niece, a mother of 4, did live at that South Ohio Avenue address.
She is one of the most kindest people you will ever meet.
Address records show Parrish did live at the address. Those records also show Hambrick lived in that same home on South Ohio before Parrish did.
We want nothing more to find who did this. They killed 3 people. Like, what kind of person could they be? They don't need to be out there because, they could kill again.
Deputy Chief Weir says detectives are looking through all leads and evidence they have. Police are asking anyone with information about these incidents to come forward. Local for you at Columbus Police Headquarters.
Yeah, so this is Ohio. I looked it up to make sure it's Ohio. So I hope that they are able to find some more evidence. Let me see. Is there any updates? No, I don't see any updates on this. Somebody made a comment. Columbus police are conflating 2 separate issues by stating that the recent triple homicide does not indicate a serial killer, while simultaneously overlooking the ongoing murders of women in the area over the past several months. This blurring distinction allows them to avoid directly addressing potentially larging and more alarming pattern of violence. All right. Yeah, so it's definitely Ohio. All right, let me go back up. All righty. So the next 2 news clips I have. So I have 3 news clips in a row that are about family annihilations or murder suicides. This time of year is when domestic violence spikes, family violence spikes, and things like that. There was just a family of 6 where 5 of them were murdered by the father. A teenager killed his family. And then there was a domestic violence in Texas with a murder-suicide. So just fair warning that those are the next 3 news clips that I'm going to be sharing. There was one survivor where the 5 people died. There was a teenager that survived. So going to share that news clip next. I think this is in Utah. I think. WVC. Let me see. Yeah, West Valley City, so that's Utah.
It's been 48 hours since we learned about the death of a West Valley family.
And in that time, we've learned 5 family members were killed as a result of a murder-suicide. And police believe the father was the shooter. A 17-year-old teen is now fighting for his life in the hospital with a severe brain injury.
News specialist Garda Mejia spoke with relatives sitting at his bedside. Garda, how is he doing this evening?
Yeah, you guys, family members tell me the sheer fact that this 17-year-old young man is alive is a miracle. They say he spent at least 2 days without medical attention before he was found. Tonight, they say he needs the community's love and prayers.
They've been here 10 years in Utah.
The Ray family, Karenni refugees originally from Myanmar, escaped persecution. 38-year-old Bume's family says the mother of 4 learned English and became her family's main provider in the last year.
We love this family. The kids are wonderful and they have perfect attendance at school. And that's why they're so good at talking. Whenever we see them, they bring smile into our face.
The family built a community at church and with friends like Bridget Harding and Michelle Schmidt, refugee host families who help them adjust to American life. The Rays took few pictures, but their friends captured these moments over the years.
We were there Friday for a few hours and honestly felt nothing but just pure love.
Friends and family members are still trying to understand what happened last weekend. Boo's family says she stopped answering calls and text messages on Saturday.
Even if she missed a call, she'll call back in a couple of minutes. So that's why she's very concerned when she didn't answer.
Police suspect 42-year-old Day Ray shot and killed his wife Boo and their 3 youngest children sometime after Friday night. Only 17-year-old Shaw Ray survived. He was shot in the head.
He's been through a lot, and he's still alive, which is a miracle.
Shaw Ray was found in the home's garage Tuesday afternoon. Loved ones have been with him at the hospital.
Just sweet little tears would come down his cheek. He's just a tender, strong young man.
They say he's responsive, showing signs of improvement.
I think God is watching over us.
Now, family members and friends that had contact with the family on Friday evening tell me that they noticed no red flags. They said that the adjustment of living in America was challenging at times for Day Ray. He did ask them to help him find a job on Friday night. As for Shaw Ray, his birthday is actually on Saturday. He'll be turning 18 years old. And before all of this tragedy happened, his goal was to go to the U next year. There is a GoFundMe. You can find that link on our website, and it's got information on how you can support with funeral expenses and medical expenses. I'll send it back to you.
That poor kid lost his entire family. I'm really glad to see the community wrap around that kid, support him. That's a beautiful thing to see, but it's horrific to think about that he waited 2 days for medical help. And it is a miracle that he held on. I'm going to see if I can find, let's see, KSL. Let me find their news. KSL News. Let me see if I can find the GoFundMe. You know, it would be nice if it was just like up on the top. That would be great. Where would you like me to find this? They don't make it easy. Huh. Most viewed. Okay. Well, I will, man, you really have to be one. Okay. I will look for this later because that's going to take me a minute. You would think that they would make that easier. I don't have newspaper. Who has newspapers nowadays? Everything's digital. Yeah. So a couple of the things that I have, I could totally put in bags, but one of the things that I got is massive, so I definitely need wrapping paper. Tash, can you remind me what time Brandy's birthday bash is? I am planning on being there. Let me pull up her channel so I can share that. I have a terrible memory, so I set a lot of alarms and stuff. For those of you who are wondering how I am successful in life, I have a lot of alerts, a lot of calendars, a lot of... why does it say Brandy's inconvenient birthday bash. It's 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern is what it looks like. So here is the link for Brandy's birthday bash that's going to be later. If y'all want to join us, I will be there. I wouldn't be streaming if it wasn't for Brandy. So definitely going to stop by and say hello. So the next news clip is Valencia. A Valencia County teen murdered his whole family.
Where did you shoot them at?
The head?
All 4 of them?
Yeah.
And you've never felt like hurting them before?
No. I never felt that.
New video released this afternoon on a quadruple murder in Berlin.
It happened early Saturday morning. Sasha Leninger joins us in the studio with what she's learned.
Ron, Darlene, I do want to warn our viewers, parts of this video you are about to see can be disturbing. Investigators say it all started with a grisly 911 call, and what deputies discovered inside a home is something they say is one of the worst scenes they've ever seen. It's around 3:30 in the morning on December 14th when this call is made.
Valencia 911 caller, can you hear me?
Hi, miss. I just wanted to call you, tell you that I killed my parents. Well, I wanted to call you, tell you that I killed my parents, my whole family.
The man on the phone, 16-year-old Diego Leyva. Deputies are dispatched to his house.
These gloves on, because if this is real, he's going to be covered in blood.
Where are you at right now?
I'm in the kitchen
Okay, how did you kill them?
with a pistol.
Deputies find Diego at the gate of his home when they get there. He's covered in blood.
Come over here. Come over here. Step over here, boss. Step over here. Come on, put your hands on your back.
Deputies then head to the front door of the house. As they enter the home,
I got 4 people.
1, 2, 3, 4.
1 in the bathroom, 3 in the hallway.
investigators say the 16-year-old killed his parents and 2 brothers. They believe he was drunk at the time. But in the chilling 911 call, Diego says this.
What made you do this?
I don't know, something bad spirit possessed me.
It's the same thing he told deputies after they asked him if he needed medical attention.
Okay. He said no, and he's possessed. How old is he? 16.
As deputies document him for injuries, they find several cuts.
Pretty large lacerations to his head, to his temple, and then to the back of his neck that he's still breathing from. And that he's still breathing from? Bleeding. And then a cut to his foot. Other than that, it's just dried blood everywhere.
Diego was heard crying a few times on video and also mumbling things.
Give me a watch. I broke them handcuffs. They act like they know.
Well, body cam video also shows deputies finding who appears to be Diego's grandfather alive in a different building on the property, saying he seemed to be asleep at the time of that shooting. Darlene, back to you.
Sasha, thank you. Diego Leyva is charged with 4 counts of murder and is being held at the Juvenile Justice Center in Albuquerque.
What the hell? A bad spirit possessed him? Wow. And he was just saying stuff. He never thought about doing it before, but then got drunk and just killed his whole family. Well, that was definitely quite disturbing. And that is reason number 4073, why you should lock up your guns. Nobody that cannot legally possess a gun should have access. 16-year-olds shouldn't have access. I'm not blaming them, but yeah. And I'm really curious if they're going to try to use saying that he was not mentally competent, that he was insane at that time, if that's what his attorney is going to do, because he's saying he was possessed. All right, so the next news clip is from Texas, and this is a murder-suicide. And this is going to go into this time of year and how extra violent it can be.
Every time I think about it, I get sick to my stomach. I haven't slept in days, barely ate, barely bathe. I homeschool my kids. I can't even teach them.
A lot of raw emotion tonight as 4 children are pushing through the pain, hoping to save lives. Court documents show that their mother is a victim of a murder-suicide in Kendale.
And support organizations for survivors of domestic violence say that unfortunately, this is the time of year when incidents like this will increase and in some cases become even more severe.
Yeah, and that was Kennedale, by the way. Marvin Hurst with Bernice's Pritchard's attempt to try to break free.
The Pritchard family took every pleasure in planning a themed evening at home to honor their mother, Bernice. According to the family, the 61-year-old was a vibrant healthcare worker who came from Liberia at 17 and lived in Houston for 25 years.
We thought maybe it was a health issue because the prior week or week and a half or so, she had low blood pressure and she had to go to the hospital.
Her kids, Tanisha, Trisha, Leela, and Xavier, say their mom got engaged to Rick Perry last Christmas. Then she moved in with him to this senior living complex in Kennedale.
You know, I love you guys. I want to kind of take you all in as, you know, my stepkids, and we really honestly didn't see any warning signs in person.
Neighbors told the children there was an argument after Pritchard had worked a 12-hour shift on Thanksgiving.
There was no signs. There was no signs, at least around us.
For 2 days, her kids say they called and sent text messages to their mother. Pritchard didn't show up for work.
And she had her location on her phone, and my mom, you know, we have her work schedule as well, and she was scheduled to go to work, and she was like, hey, I noticed her location has been at home all day. And
Saturday, they called the police. Pritchard's children say they arrived to a crime scene on South New Hope Road, and police told them they'd found 2 bodies inside of a bedroom. The Tarrant County Medical Examiner's Office determined 63-year-old Perry committed suicide. Pritchard had been shot multiple times.
Did she ever say anything to you all that indicated that she was in jeopardy at all?
She confided in me a few times. Like, I think she knew something was going to happen. She would talk about how she wanted her funeral to be
the best birthday ever.
Happy woman becomes a victim of a spiraling relationship. Not an uncommon story at Genesis Women's Health Shelter, especially during the holiday stress, says the CEO.
The tricky part about it is, Marvin, though, is that we can't see it coming. These guys don't come on as monsters. They come on as gentlemen.
Jan Langbein says leaving can be coordinated with a professional because the exit is dangerous.
Women who are leaving or in the process of leaving, or he suspects that she might leave, are in 7 times greater danger of being killed at that moment. That's why shelters have to operate in a secret location.
Pritchard's family says 8 months after coming to this apartment, she had planned to leave.
they said that they found the door barricaded and a suitcase full of her clothes by the door.
Police have not returned our phone calls about this investigation. In the meantime, a family endures grief and tries to overcome a holiday nightmare.
I don't know how to process. I don't know how to process this. It's like I'm in a dream. She didn't deserve that. Anyone who's being abused, you have to leave, even if it means leaving everything. Material things don't mean anything, and your life is more important. Just leave.
In Kennedale, Marvin Hurst, CBS News, Texas.
Just want to leave you with this. If you or someone you know, someone you love needs help, there is help for you. You can reach out to the Genesis Women's Shelter. That number is 214-946-4357. You can do it from anywhere in the state, and you can also contact the National Domestic Violence Hotline. That is 800-799-SAFE.
One of our series, detectives say their hands.
It's a lot easier said than done just to tell somebody to leave. It's really tough to get out of an abusive relationship, and uh, it's you leaving or after you leave that is the most dangerous time. Uh, I was in an abusive relationship when I was in my 20s, and the only reason I got out was because he got arrested for something totally different, and I moved and I quit my job because him knowing where I worked or lived just no. But yeah, I had to move and quit my job. And then I immediately got into another relationship purely just for protection, which was not the smartest thing to do. But I don't recommend that. But I was also in my 20s. But yes, at least call the hotline, get the advice. If you are in an abusive relationship, the domestic violence hotline, they are wonderful people. They can give you advice. I've called them before. Yeah, it's much easier to just tell someone to get out. It's not that easy. It took me a few times to leave. But like I said, I had to wait for him to get arrested to confidently get away. So, you know, have patience. If you know somebody that's in an abusive relationship, it's not just so easy for them to leave. All right. So let's see. The next story is in Tuscan. That's Arizona, right? Tuscan, Arizona. So a firefighter has been connected to multiple rapes due to DNA.
One of our series, detectives say their hands are tied, all because the clock has run out on the statute of limitations, and victims fear the system has failed them.
There are kind of our terrifying cases. There the victims are home, in some cases asleep, some cases not asleep, but the suspect breaks in and then covers their face and sexually assaults them.
After 34 years, Tucson detectives say a suspected serial rapist has been identified through DNA. But the statute of limitations in Arizona may prevent prosecutors from seeking a conviction. I spent hours poring over documents related to the investigation. The cases went cold for years until a recent grant allowed TPD to do advanced DNA testing on its rape kits.
We're testing every kit, and we're letting every victim know that if we are able to identify a suspect, we're letting them know who the suspect is. That is their right to know.
The FBI notified TPD in May that the DNA of one man was tied to 3 different rapes from 1989 and 1990 near the U of A. In July, detectives responded to that man's home to serve a warrant to get a cheek swab. Days later, it was confirmed his DNA matched the DNA recovered in all 3 cases. In this lab report, officials note the frequency of occurrence of this DNA profile among unrelated individuals in the U.S. population is estimated to be 1 in 610 octillion. That's 610 followed by 27 zeros. But despite the DNA link, he has not yet been charged with a crime. That's because the statute of limitations has expired.
He's a serial offender, and I can't arrest him and get him off the streets. It's very alarming.
Through our investigation, we found out Abraham Pedrego is the man whose DNA is connected to these cases. We learned Pedrego had recently been employed as a firefighter with South Tucson Fire, the Tucson Airport Fire Department, and the Picture Rocks Fire District. Both South Tucson and Picture Rocks confirmed they terminated him after learning about the TPD findings, and he resigned from the Tucson Airport Authority after they placed him on paid leave for an investigation. To be clear, Pedrego has not been charged with a crime. 13 News wanted to give him the opportunity to talk with us about his DNA being tied to these cases and how that led to his firing and resignation at 2 area fire departments. I stopped by his house, but the area was gated, so I called. Hi, Abraham. My name's Mary Coleman. I'm calling from 13 News. He did not want to talk to us. Well, thank you again. Just wanted to give you the opportunity to speak. Documents revealed he had retained the Suzuki law firm for representation. I made multiple attempts to contact them and did not hear back.
It's pretty horrible. It's frustrating. It makes me angry. I can't really describe it beyond that.
Angry because no matter what the science shows or how much law enforcement believes someone may be guilty, the statute of limitations at the time of these crimes barred anything from being done after 7 years.
This case is particularly hard because these cases have remained unsolved for so long, and going back and notifying these victims that we have identified the suspect but are unable to make an arrest does not feel like justice. It's miserable.
Tomorrow night, we speak with 2 of the victims in these rape cases about what they've endured and its enormous impact on their lives. And they open up about how they felt finding out the person whose DNA police say is linked to their assaults is walking free.
Yeah, rape does have a time frame. Let me see. Arizona rape statute. I don't know how I feel about there being a statute of limitation. So it's 7 years. So they have to, yeah. So it's only 7 years. It's well past the 7 years. Yeah, I'm not really sure why they're not showing his photo. They did say his name. There's probably some legality thing that they're getting around by doing it the way that they're doing it. Because you know that reporters and news stations have to be very careful with what they say and do. So I am going to we're gonna make sure to share this out on social media so everybody can know his name. Because yeah, everybody needs to know. Let's see what the comments said. There shouldn't be any statute of limitation. Statute of limitation should not be allowed for rape. It's vicious. Why in the world is there statute of limitations on violent crime? There's no statute of limitation for the victim suffering. Okay. All right. I see that the public is all for it. Okay, okay. There's yeah, a lot of people are pissed in the comments. People said show a picture. Oh. Oh, so apparently a bunch of his social media is already gone. So I don't know that people can find photos of him online because it looks like the people in the comments are trying. Yeah, people said they should sue for failing to process the rape kits. We didn't have the type of DNA processing that we have now, so really couldn't do that. The Wayback Machine. Situations like this just set up. Situations like this just set things up for rough justice. Yes. Gotta go make yes, Christmas cookies. I need to go make cookies too. And I have to clean because my roommate's mom is coming. So excited. So excited. But not right now. I got a couple more. So have fun, Poke Mom. Mail me some, please. Please and thank you. All right. So I have a couple more videos. So the next news clip that I'm going to share. So this is from one of the parents of the Idaho 4. She's going to talk about, what she's going through. The quote here is, "I see her in dreams. I'm really glad that she dreams about her at the very least. I've only had one dream ever in 5 years with Austin in it. And I'm very grateful for the dream that I had because I like asked him like where he'd been and all this stuff, and I asked him if he was okay and uh, that. And then like we had this whole thing, and I made sure he was okay in the dream, and then I had sleep paralysis after that. So that was interesting. So I had that dream, and then I swear to God, I felt something slap the bottom of my foot, and I woke up, but I couldn't move, and there was nobody there. And then I saw this black shadow walk by, or not walk, or glide by whatever my bedroom door. Um, yeah, so that was scary. But I fought myself awake finally, and that was the last time I had sleep paralysis and the last time that I dreamt about him. Um, so I'm glad for her that she's able to dream about her daughter. So this is going to be a little bit of a longer video. I want to play it in its entirety to, give her the space to talk about her daughter and what she's going through. It's very important that people see what murder victims' families go through, and especially during the trial and stuff like that, and being in the media and all that. Candace! Ooh, Paz. Hi, Candace. All right. I'm gonna play. What happened? No. Oh my gosh. Where did it go? Hold, please. Here it is. Okay, sorry.
It was 2 years ago when the world came to know Madison Mogen's name, a 21-year-old senior at the University of Idaho, known as Maddie to her friends and family. She had an unforgettable smile and made everyone she met feel loved. A life taken too soon when she and 3 others, Kaylee Gonsalves, Xana Kernodle, and Ethan Chapin, were murdered in an off-campus house in November 2022. A weeks-long manhunt ended with the arrest of then 28-year-old Brian Koberger, who now faces 4 counts of first-degree murder and the death penalty if convicted. The initial judge in the case entered a not guilty plea on his behalf. The trial now set for August. In the years since the tragedy, those who knew Madison, Kaylee, Xana, and Ethan have worked to keep their memories alive. The University of Idaho dedicated a new healing garden and memorial in August.
Today, we consecrate this ground as a place where all can reflect, honor their memories, and heal.
Ethan's family established Ethan's Smile to carry on his legacy. His mom, Stacy, talking about Ethan last year on Today.
He just swarmed every room. He had a wonderful smile.
Now, Maddie, Kaylee, and Xana are being honored through the Made with Kindness Foundation. The foundation's mission to partner with colleges and universities to provide scholarship funds, grief wellness seminars, and comprehensive on-campus safety awareness. Madison's mother, Karen, is on the board. She joined other family and friends last month to dedicate Bestie's Benches to her daughter and her friends, a place to reflect and to celebrate 3 beautiful lives. Well, Karen Laramie is with us this morning alongside Angela Navejas, who is the co-founder of this Made with Kindness Foundation, which we want to talk about this morning in the way that you both are honoring Maddie. But Karen, to be with you and know how much you have been through, just how are you doing this morning?
Doing all right. It's been a long flight and some major travels, but I feel the love absolutely from you guys.
Well, we learned a lot about Maddie, and I was just wondering, like, you must talk to her often. I was imagining you doing that. Tell me about what that's like.
It's about memories and love. And sometimes I see her in dreams when she's like a toddler, and those days when they still hug you. And sometimes I see her in dreams when she's more of an adult. And it's always about hugs and appreciation. And it's just beautiful.
It's to have a dream about someone you've lost is so special because I always think, they're perfectly preserved in your mind.
Absolutely.
And it's such a precious gift. You almost don't want to wake up from that dream.
Yes. Absolutely. It's hard.
Yeah.
Because you have to say goodbye again.
Yeah. But you and Maddie had such a special relationship. I mean, I was telling you before, it's kind of mom goals, the way that she grew up and was so beloved and the special connection that you had. Can you tell me about her and tell me about that?
So one of the funny stories I was telling, I think my aunt, is that we never had slammed doors in our house. We never had, there was one string cheese fight one time when she was 8 because she wouldn't eat dinner. She would snack. And I said, honey, no, you cannot have string cheese because I'm making dinner. And she slammed it on the counter and marched to her room. And my husband, Scott, and I looked at her like, what just happened there? Like, that was so out of character. Madison was a great baby. I'm not going to say was. Madison is absolutely amazing and always has been. Like, didn't have terrible 2s. She had some stubborn 3s, but even as a teenager, she was just a joy.
Well, you describe her kindness as beyond.
Yes.
It's like everywhere she went, she brought light. That was just how she led, right? Tell us about that.
It is. So it was just surprising to me. Like, so we were in Seattle one time and I'm watching her as an adult going shopping and being in these stores. And I'm like, you're just so kind to everybody. Like, did we really ingrain that in you? Like, that's amazing. One time she called my cousin on Veterans Day and said, thank you for your service. After she lived with him and like burnt half his pans. So she just had that genuine love that it's just impossible to describe.
Do you wake up some mornings and wonder if it's all real? It's been 2 years.
It's real.
Yeah.
But I know where the girls are. And faith is really the basis of how you get up every morning when you have a loss this deep.
I love how sentimental Maddie seemed to be. I know you're wearing a ring that she surprised you with.
Yes.
Can you tell me? I wanted to. It's so beautiful, and
So-
for a young girl like that to do something for her mom.
So it's a 2-piece ring. And my half, I think, says, you are my sunshine. And hers said, my only sunshine.
Oh, they used to sing that to her.
Yes, all the time.
And I know she made you a Mother's Day book. I mean, it's just extraordinary to me, this connection that you so clearly had with this beautiful girl.
It was easy. She is amazing.
She is amazing. And she lives on in this organization too that you and your friend Angela have established. Tell us about that, Angela.
Yeah, so my daughter and I decided, my daughter's Ashlyn, her and Maddie were best friends. They went to school together as well. And we just decided that we wanted to start something to be able to remember and honor the girls in kind of how they were, their optimism, empowerment, confidence. And so we just woke up one morning and said, hey, let's start a foundation in the girls' honor. And I grabbed some flowers and wrote a letter to Karen, and she wasn't home, so I stuck it on her door, and she got home from Hawaii, and then here we are.
And I mean, Karen, having a purpose to this pain is so important.
It absolutely is.
Tell me what you're hoping to accomplish with the foundation. What is it about? Because I know it's about giving back, which is in your heart and was in Maddie's too.
Absolutely. So I think the most important thing, it's going to be really fun to be part of the scholarship committee and just watch kids read what they have to say, what's in their hearts, and be able to give them back something. The economy is horrible. Like, everyone needs a helping hand. And I'm just really super excited to see. And we have a lot of platforms that we're working on. And every one of them is positive. And that just brings it back to your heart. Like, you know, we're missing our kids. And to have something to put your heart into positively, it's there are no words.
We've been reporting on this upcoming trial, and I feel like every time we talk about it, we say it's happening later, it's happening later. It's been 2 years. I think the trial's still another 8 months away. What do you think about all this time that has passed from the time of the crime to the fact that we have not been to trial yet?
I don't have a lot of comments on that. I would say that I feel like the legal system is not about the victims, and I'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
it's such a difficult road for all of the families, and all of the families grieve differently, of course. Kaylee and Madison had such a special relationship in particular.
Yes, they did.
She was almost, they were like sisters.
Yes, they were.
So, I mean, you're suffering that loss as well. Yeah. You're missing Kaylee, you're missing Maddie. Have you guys been able to support each other?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Christy and Steve are amazing. And healing together is such a huge thing, because both families had just this like immediate loss of the girls. And yes, they have been very, very supportive. And I just absolutely love them.
Well, we absolutely love you. We're so happy that you came on and you spoke to us about her beautiful spirit, Maddie's spirit, and this incredible foundation that you guys have established. So thank you for coming and sharing with us. It means a lot. So thank you.
Absolutely. And thank you guys.
Hey, thanks for.
Yeah, such beautiful young women. Yeah, the system is not for the victims at all whatsoever. I learned that myself. You think it is until you get in it, and then you realize it's not at all. Having purpose, having something positive to do with your pain helps a lot. I know doing the things that I do help a lot. And the fact that I've had to pull back a little bit, yeah, it hasn't helped. It actually helped me doing more, but I'll get into that another day. But I'm very proud of them to be doing all the positive things that they're doing, and that the families have each other to lean on. Let's see. So the next news clip that I have, let's see, is probably going to upset you. But just to touch base again on what she was talking about, I think it's important for families that are able to speak up, to talk about what they're going through, so that way the public does understand a little bit more. But nobody should be forced to talk to the media. So I'm glad that they have a relationship with the media, and that they're able to do this with their consent and discuss these things, and that they're able to have the foundations and the buddy benches and all that. So that way they leave a legacy behind with their loved one. So the next news clip is something that I was thinking about earlier. When people go missing and the families are looking for them, they may not actually be missing. They could be unidentified somewhere in a morgue, or something like that. And I really thought that maybe they tried really hard to contact families so that way they know that their loved one died. But apparently that is not the case. So there is a man that learned about his brother's death because there was a scandal with unidentified bodies being sold for scientific research. That's a pretty horrible way to find out, because there was a scandal and a list was released with the person's names. So they knew their names, but they couldn't find the family. But the brother was able to find out through a news thing. So did you not try at all to find him? You could have just posted the name and list somewhere, and clearly the family would have found it. Yeah, so here we go.
We're home, settled in, and we turned the news on.
For Tim Leggett, it was the most unexpected way to find out his brother Dale had died.
We like to get here in time to see Lester, and the story comes on about dealing the dead.
It is a disturbing story out of Texas.
It was our investigation into a local medical school, the University of North Texas Health Science Center, and how it made millions in part by taking in unclaimed bodies from Dallas and Tarrant counties and then leasing out those body parts, often without consent, for medical training and research, at times as their own loved ones searched for them.
And I'm thinking, okay, well, that's interesting. I feel very sorry for those people. And then they said, if you want to see more about the story or look at the list of names, go to our website.
And so Tim did, both out of a curiosity and a nagging feeling about his brother.
Thinking, well, it has been a little while since I've seen Dale. And I know he lives by himself. I know he's very, very much a loner.
To his shock, they're among some 1,800 names of unclaimed bodies given to the center and published by NBC News was Denzel Leggett. Dale.
So I had a moment, a long moment of crying and tears because that's how I found out about my brother's death.
Right.
So I'm dealing with it.
Tim is among at least 11 families who have learned the grisly details of what happened to their relative, not from a medical examiner, hospital, or the Health Science Center, but from NBC News, and 6 who found their relative's name on the list we published of unclaimed bodies, including the mother of a 21-year-old murder victim, Aurimar Iturriago Villegas, who in 2022 was killed in a road rage shooting outside Dallas. Despite documents showing authorities in Texas had her mother's phone number in Venezuela, there's no evidence they attempted to call it before her body went to the center for medical training. Invoices showing her body parts assigned dollar figures, $900 for her torso, $703 for her legs.
How does something like that happen? How could somebody not realize, hey, this person's probably got family here?
Tim reached out to the center seeking answers. Officials gave him a letter thanking him for his brother's sacrifice and indicating his body had been used to train anesthesiologists. But they omitted that the training was held in Kentucky by a for-profit medical education company, a detail only revealed in documents obtained by NBC News.
What's disturbing is, why didn't you just tell me that?
Officials also handed him a box containing what he was told were his brother's remains.
Do you believe that those are indeed your brother's ashes?
I'm not positive. My wife is convinced they're not, but emotionally, psychologically, I'm going to pretend they really are, because there's somebody in that box, and whoever's in that box needs to be, in my mind, set free. So I set them free.
Following NBC News' findings, the center suspended its body donation program and fired the officials who ran it. The center declined to comment on Dale's case, but said in a recent statement, in part, it will take necessary actions to address any additional failures, and that it continues to extend its deepest apologies to the families impacted. Tim says he hopes speaking out will lead to change, including more regulation for the body broker industry, which so far has little to none, not only in Texas, but nationwide.
What do you want people to know about your brother?
My brother, he never hurt anybody. He was a unique personality, but he never hurt anybody.
And he never would have wanted this.
And he never would have wanted to happen to his body.
Liz is joining us now. That's an incredible story, Liz. To hear that he only learned about it by watching the series on Nightly, just unbelievable. There are other potentially family members who still have no idea that their loved ones were used for something like this. What is being done to prevent this sort of thing from happening again?
Yeah, Yasmin, it is really remarkable. And I just do want to give a shout out to the reporting team behind this, particularly our colleagues, Mike Hicksenbaugh and John Shupe, who have spent a year investigating this and exposing this. Just incredible reporting there by the team. And as far as your question, the big ethical question here is, should unclaimed bodies be able to be used for medical training and research without consent? We know that bioethicists overwhelmingly believe that no, they should not be. Many hospitals and medical schools are not using unclaimed bodies, but it's really hard to know the scope and where else this might be happening because there is no federal regulation around it. Only a handful of states really have any kind of regulation around unclaimed bodies. We do know that a state senator in Texas, after our reporting, has come out and said that he is working on legislation now for Texas to do two things. One, to ban the use of unclaimed bodies for medical training and research without consent, and two, to make some kind of regulation around the U.S. body broker business. In fact, we've done other reporting on that. And one expert told me that there's more regulations around selling refrigerators in the U.S. than selling body parts.
What?
It's really remarkable. I think there's a lot more to dig into here. And we do actually have more reporting, several other pieces we've done from the team that folks can go and see on our website, NBCnews.com. Yasmin.
I'm wondering, how long did it take from the time in which he saw the piece on Nightly to actually finding his brother's name and understanding what exactly had happened. Was it immediate, or was it over a period of days?
He tells us that literally he was sitting there on the couch with his wife, that they have a joke every night. They got to get home to watch Lester. And that he went there on the couch and went to the app, looked at our article, and saw his brother's name right then and there.
Wow. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Really good reporting on that. Thank you, Liz Kreutz. Appreciate it.
Thanks for watching. Stay up.
Yeah, that's insane. There definitely needs to be regulation on body parts. The fact that they had these people, but they didn't even try to contact their family. Clearly, they didn't try. They obviously did whatever they could to just hold on to. So if the family didn't contact the right entity, then they're not going to get their loved one. All right. So the next news clip is something I wish I found in my yard. I also wish that they would have mentioned the senator, so that way people know which senator to watch or to talk to about getting this legislation passed. So this was in Dallas and Tarrant County. So 1,800 bodies between Dallas and Tarrant County only. But there is no regulation in Texas, and there is no regulation nationally. So a New York man found a mastodon jaw in his backyard. I would like to find freaking dinosaur in my yard. That would be great. That'd be the best Christmas present ever.
A man here.
Ah, no! Click the wrong thing. Oh, God. Go away. Oh, I just closed the wrong thing, too. Didn't I? I don't know what I did.
Here in Scotchtown was mowing his lawn when he spotted two teeth sticking up from the ground. It didn't take long for him to realize there was something special and rare hiding in the ground.
This is the part of the tooth that was coming out of the ground.
A backyard in Orange County turned into an archaeological dig after a homeowner called in a team of researchers to find out what was lurking beneath his property.
That's a lucky neighbor. That's pretty cool.
It turns out those teeth poking from the ground were part of this mastodon jaw, believed to be 13,000 years old.
We knew we had something pretty exciting.
Dr. Robert Farinack is the paleontologist with the New York State Museum who helped unearth the fossil in remarkable condition.
Mastodons were our elephant relatives that lived during the ice ages here in New York.
But it wasn't just the mastodon jaw that they dug up.
We also found this piece of toe. Then over here is a piece of rib.
The fossil is now in Albany as Dr. Farinack works to wipe away all the dirt from the jaw and glue the bones back together, a meticulous process that will take months.
It is just like a 3D puzzle. I try and find pieces that match up.
It turns out mastodon bones are hiding all over Orange County, accounting for 1/3 of all fossils found in the state. It's enough to inspire 4-year-old Alex to start digging.
I'll try to dig some to find some like a treasure.
Dr. Farinack is hopeful that the backyard in Scotchtown will yield more fossils as he works to preserve this prehistoric wonder.
I want people 200 years from now to also be able to experience this jaw.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news.
Freaking cute. Oh my God, I loved him. Next, the Grinch has been arrested trying to steal Christmas.
So we know the Grinch stole Christmas.
Nasty Grinch.
Right. But what about the Christmas tree? The Pickens Police Department in South Carolina responded to a call involving a suspect being furry and green,
No kidding.
attempting to steal a Christmas tree and gifts. After a short foot pursuit and being tased,
The tase the Grinch?
the suspect was taken into custody.
Wow.
The suspect was identified as the Grinch and is linked to several burglaries.
Oh, that's awesome. I knew his mugshot was going to look just like that. Yep.
He was linked to several burglaries. This is serious, Mark.
Wow. Okay.
The Grinch is in custody and has been charged with first-degree stealing Christmas
Oh.
and third-degree onion breath.
No way. That was in Pickens, huh?
Pickens, South Carolina.
Apparently, they don't have a lot of police duties to do there. They could go out and just.
I hope. Well, I don't know. I don't know what to think about this story. Was the guy? Was he actually tased?
Yeah, I think so. If you know what, if you had a taser and you saw the Grinch,
I guess.
why wouldn't you tase
I mean,
him?
he's
just for
been
sport.
tormenting
Yes, he
homes
has,
for
right?
years.
Mhm.
So
stealing Christmas. I mean,
know.
that's a capital offense right there.
Well, clearly.
He just said stealing Christmas is a capital offense. That guy is funny. I love him. He said the cops must not have anything to do, must not have a lot of duties, must be a quiet town. Because damn sure Houston and New York ain't got time for that. Ain't got time for that. All right. So the last video of the day will be it's time for my favorite videos, animals, though that Grinch one was pretty damn good. I did. That was pretty funny. That reporter really cracked me up. And yeah, supposedly tased the Grinch. So this is animals at the zoo getting Christmas themed food. African wild dogs. Gingerbread pinata. Beautiful dogs. Oh, look at the polar bear. Oh my god, that's so cute. I love it. All right. Well, that is going to be it for today. I have to go elbow people out of the way at Walmart to get some wrapping paper. Okay, well, I'm going to make one more lap around my house to make sure I don't have it because I really don't want to go because I just realized I need wrapping paper late last night. I think I used to have a lot of it, but I might have got mad when I was trying to move and threw it away. We'll see. I love you guys. I appreciate y'all hanging out. I will be back tomorrow. I'm not sure what time yet. I'll get it figured out and I'll post it on Twitter. I'll post it on here on YouTube. So just make sure that you are following me. I might stream some Christmas videos on Kick. I'm thinking about it. Depends how far I get with my cleaning. If you are available later tonight, Brandy does have a birthday stream. I'm going to share that one more time. I appreciate you all. I love you all, and I will see you again soon. And if I don't see you again, have a very Merry Christmas. Love y'all. Bye.